Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the live podcast from South Beloit, Illinois, at the Speed Shop at DJ Smith. This is Outside the Fence, brought to you by Misfit Productions. And I got to tell you about our new sponsor who came on board last week. We all know about him, Richie's Smoking Barbecue. Tonight he brought in macaroni and cheese pizza. What was the other one, guys? Philly cheesesteak pizza. And the consensus, again, from the crowd is you got to go see Richie at Richie's Smoking Barbecue. Good food. Not only the pizza, he's got a full menu of everything brisket, everything pork, barbecue pork. And I've had the tacos, and they're actually pretty good, too. So check out Richie's right there on North 2nd Street in Lowe's Park, just south of Harlem Road, out there on the west side of the road. Check out Richie's Smoking Barbecue. Outside the Fence, you know, we are live. We're just talk show, kind of what's going on in the world. I always like to give an update on the Rockford Speedway, the Big 8 stuff. I was hoping to tell you the Big 8 schedule here tonight, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. We'll have to do that next week. But this COVID has really thrown a bunch of us off today, or this whole year actually. And the Rockford Speedway rules were released earlier this week. Big 8 rules were out a couple weeks ago. So now the question is the Rockford Speedway schedule. So that's coming. That's all I can tell you. We are going to be racing Saturday nights and special events. So we're working those details out. The spring is really odd for the start of the year. So once we get that sorted out, we'll have that portion out and available. The Speedway banquet, as we know, has been postponed to February 27th. Right now, the state of Illinois is in a phase 4, which means we can have 50 people. But at the Forest Hills Lodge, I've got 75 rooms, so I can have 112,000 people there. So we're good. We're good. And we're going to sell beer and soda, so it's a retail event. Kind of like going to Menards where you buy stuff. That's kind of there's ways around it, and we're going to get around it because as we all know, it's time to move on. Yes, there is a virus. Yes, there's a disease, but this world's got to move. We got to move forward. So with that being said, moving forward, next season, tonight my guest, Tom GIlle, Adam Cartwright. 2 Rockford, well, various racetracks. Adam, look, you've been on in a while. You started on dirt, is that correct? Sycamore, is that where you got your start?
No, actually I started at Rockford.
Okay.
And then
Tell
I
us
went
more.
to Sycamore.
Where'd you start? What'd you do at Rockford? Roadrunners or?
Roadrunners. My stepdad, Gilbert Brewer, built me the first car, and it was a 77 Buick. And we just finished it up. There's no lead in the car. The camber, the caster, nothing was set. Front end wasn't set. He goes, just go out, get laps, get seat time. Well, they posted the lineups, and I was outside front row of Wanda Dobbs. I mean, I've watched her.
You got to finish that story.
Yeah. I'm like, I've watched her race, you know, because I've been around at that point for it'd be 6 years at that point. And so I've watched all the races since then, and I'm like, there's no way that a woman is going to beat me. Like, it's not going to happen. And it was my 16th birthday. It was my very first race. Like, legit, my birthday. I had my whole family on the bleachers. They reserved it, and family, friends, and here we go down the back stretch, and everybody on the back stretch. I'm like, should I listen to him or not? Should I listen to him or not? Well, we come out of 4, and my foot just went to the floor. Going into 1, it didn't turn. At all. And I went up on top of the wall, destroyed the whole right side of the car, bent the frame. I mean, pulled in the pits, and David Hurd was actually the first one to my window, asking me if I was all right. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I was crying because I'm like, Gibbs gonna kill me. He's like, he's gonna be pissed. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I'm going to tell you the same thing that he's going to tell you. If you want to race again, get your ass out and go change some tires. So I got out of the car, and I tried talking to Gibb, and he was like, don't talk to me. Just go get your tires changed if you want to race again. So I went up there, got tires changed. They replaced the upper, the lower, ball joints, tie rod, everything. And we went out for the feature, and I rode around the back, and that was my first experience.
So you got beat by a woman twice that night.
Yes, I did.
I just want to clarify that. Okay. Just want to get that one. Obviously, you didn't make that was a heat race probably, but.
It was we took the green, and I went into 1. That was it.
So after that, then when was the first win? And
I raced one more time, I think it was after that. But other than that, I just practiced Pat Smith's car for the rest of the year. And then Gibb used my car after they fixed it, and he ran mine on Wednesday nights, ran his car on Saturday nights when they were running both Wednesday, Saturdays.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. So me and a buddy of mine went, and we got some cars for Sycamore. Well, we raced out there on Friday night, and then, young and dumb, we went and partied on Saturday nights. Well, he's out racing. Well, Wednesday night, come around, he ran my car on Wednesday, especially for the figure 8, so he didn't wreck his car. So he calls me up at like 1 o'clock in the morning and says, I need you to get to the house right away. I'm like, why? He goes, I wrecked your car. I'm like, no, you didn't. He goes, yes, I did. So I pull up, sitting there waiting, and all of a sudden he comes pulling around the corner, and sure as shit, front end stuck sky high in the air. And I'm like, how the hell did you do that? He goes, well, apparently 2 veterans had never lifted in the middle of the X, and he hit Pat Smith in the X that night. Okay. Destroyed both cars. So
that usually happens.
We went down to he worked at the junkyard and left it on the trailer and used the crane and pushed the front end back down. And I don't even think he plated it. I think he just pushed it back down. He didn't bend anything else. He goes out that Saturday night and ended up winning the feature with it. So
might have helped, huh?
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does. There is that truth.
So then I went to Sycamore for a couple years and with a couple of buddies, and I liked it, but I didn't really care for it. Okay. And then I ended up getting hooked up with Bo Lawson and got his metric car in 2012, and I've been back ever since.
What did you run at Sycamore? What category? I know
they call it the Spectator class.
Okay.
Bust the windows out and go. And
all right.
Ran their 4 cylinders and I ran one of their. That was when they were late models. It's their pure stocks or whatever now. But I ran one race of that, and I'm like, I'm too broke for this back then. So.
Well, dirt has different division names, I guess. So I'm always trying to figure out which is which.
Yeah, it seems like they change every year. So.
That is true. That is true. So then you came back to Rockford. Now you're back in the Roadrunners.
No, I ran Roadrunners for. Well, it was from 2012 till I think it was 2017, and then we got a Sportsman, and then ran all the way up till last year, and I thought it was a wise idea to go ahead and get a late model now.
I've heard that. Tell us about that. Where's it at where'd it come from, and where you at in the build process?
Honestly, I can't even pronounce the guy's name. I traded my Sportsman for the late model roller. To find out, it's built in '98. It was originally a Camaro stub, but we got a hold of left-hander, and they don't know who updated it because it was updated at one point, but they didn't do it. So I talked to Tom into helping me. So we went through and updated it, and it's almost together. It's moving along pretty good.
Okay. Tom seems to know more about the car, I think, than you do.
Yes, he does.
At this point. Well, obviously the late model.
We're teaching him.
It's
we're
a lot of
picking on him
learning.
pretty hard, but we're teaching him, and that was we kind of made a deal last year that when he got this car, it's like, you know what, come help us at the racetrack, crew with us, and when wintertime gets here, I said we'll help you with the car, we'll help at least get it rolling and get it updated and that. So so that him and Bobby did that, and now he comes to the shop, and he's our kind of whipping boy. We pick on him pretty hard, but we did a lot of cutting and welding and grinding on it, and it's nice and powder coated now, and it looks really nice, and she should be pretty much rolling with brakes, and everything should be done by tomorrow, actually.
New fab stub and everything. Obviously got rid of the stock stub.
Everything's
pretty straight of a car, or
it's actually it should end up being a pretty decent car. It'll
now
be
we just
way
got to worry
better.
about the driver, right?
Well,
that's been my worry since day one.
I can imagine that's a big step.
Well, Adam's been racing, but we're just where I am. I'm just like, if somebody doesn't help the young guys, then we're not going to have anybody to race.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we can help him out, he helps us out, and he can learn without costing him 3 years of struggling and wrecking stuff and what's this do, how's that work.
Right.
So we're just we'll save him some time and money, and he can help us.
So back to you, Adam. The step from the Roadrunner to Sportsman, more power, handling's better. What was the transition there? I mean, I know when we switched tires, you didn't like the new tire we went to.
Yeah, no. When we went
I
from
don't
the
bring that
Roadrunner,
bad up, but that's the truth. I mean,
when
is
we
what it
went
is.
from the Roadrunner to the Sportsman, my first race in the Sportsman was at Short Track, and I didn't expect anything. I was out there to just get seat time, and we go out, and I think we were like third quick on Short Track. Well, the very first time in the car, we slapped some duct tape numbers on it, and we had gotten a hold of a couple people and asked about tire pressures and stuff, but other than that, we didn't change anything, and ended up like, I think it was like third quick, ended up second in the heat or third in the heat race, and then we were chasing down Jason Toma at the feature, and finished second my first time in the car.
Well,
so I'm like, wow, this is
easy.
This is good. Like this is going to be a fun time. And so we went to brackets with it. I ended up breaking out. That was when it was a 14.5, right? Yeah, 14.5. I turned 14.499, and I'm like, oh no. So then I ended up going back out, and I got like a 14.85 or 14.585 or something. It put me like, I think it was like 8th or 9th quick, so it was pretty good, and I ended up 5th in the 1A bracket with a Sportsman.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, our roll's still going. I'm like, this is
good.
gonna be fun.
False hope.
Yeah. So the next
From there it went downhill, right?
2018.
Then reality set.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm all pumped up about the new season, and me and my wife we were going on trips for our Lavelle stuff, and I'm like, well, we're not gonna be able to run a full season because she wants to go on trips. We're headed down to, I think it was down to
always
New
the wife's
Orleans
fault.
or Texas. It was one of the two. But we went out opening night and ended up winning the dash, winning the heat, and winning the feature. And then I'm like, well,
Uh-oh.
this isn't good. And she goes, well, I'll go ahead and go on the trip. You stay. If this is what you want to do. And I'm like, no, I'm going to go. So we ended up taking the next week off, being the point leader. And, I mean, I think we ended up only racing probably half the season, but still ended up finishing like 7th in points. I'm like, wow, if I would have listened to her, I would have been in a lot of trouble. But I could have had, like, a really good shot at being rookie and champion.
All in 1 year, yeah.
I'm like, that would have been awesome. Then I'm like, well, I don't know. I had fun on our trip, so.
Probably worth it. So then what happens? Next year would have been 19,
19,
right?
we
Yeah.
were pretty quick. I mean, we ended up getting it down. It was like 14.3, 8.5, I think was our fast time. I mean, we were always top 3, and I'm like, we only ran a couple, I don't know, maybe 6-7 times, but then we went to last year and that new tire, and I couldn't figure it out. I'm glad other people did, but I couldn't do it. I had him helping me. I had Jerry helping me. I'm like, I just can't get it. And then the motor ended up going boom, and I'm like, I'm done. And then the dude messaged me about the late model and traded him, and here we are.
History, right?
Yep.
Wow. But over the years, you have, oh God, what do they call it now? The Challenge Championships. How many of those you got?
2 of those. I got a figure 8 championship.
And a figure 8, okay. So yeah, now you're moving up to the late models. Tom, what's the best advice you can give him?
Best advice I'd give him is patience. You know, I mean, you can't think you're going to do what he did the first year in the Sportsman car.
Right.
That ain't going to happen. And you got to know in the back of your mind that you're racing with guys you haven't raced with. You're racing in cars you haven't raced with. You're going to wreck. Just as simple as that.
Happen.
Just as simple as that. You're going to tear it up a couple times, and you just got to have that in the back of your head that, okay, what did I learn, or what didn't I learn? And you just got to keep digging. That's the big thing. Just got to keep. You can't let yourself think that you can't do this, or I need, this is, you just, because eventually it's going to click,
Right.
and it'll hit, and you'll move on.
So what kind of motor you got for the car this year?
It's going to be an open motor.
Okay.
It's an older one, but it's pretty much new. It's
an older style.
Yeah, it's an older style. It's a B&B.
Okay.
But, I mean, it was, I was told it was Wyatt Brooks' old motor. He said it's pretty good. I'm getting a really good deal on it, and I mean, it's not got the horsepower that everybody else has got, but it'll be
Right.
enough for me to get my feet wet with.
Get yourself into the ring.
Yeah.
You bringing any sponsors along with you, or how's that looking?
As of right now, I mean, I still have my buddy with his dad with the Raccoose Electric. He's been with me since day one. I mean, even back before I started racing, throughout my racing, my derby stuff, he's always supported me. And we got another one, but he won't tell me who it is. My buddy for the Raccoose Electric, he just brought me over an envelope full of cash and said, "Here,
Secret
this is
sponsor.
from somebody. We'll get more next year, and then we'll fill you in." And I'm like, well, I would like to know who this guy is. And still, even just the other day, I asked him what his name was, and he still wouldn't tell me. So,
Well, don't ask again. That's what I was saying.
Never
Ride
look-
with it,
Never look a gift horse. Just,
Right.
Just move on.
Yeah.
Say thank you. Move on.
yeah. So, I mean, that's what I've got so far. We're definitely with not racing this year and only practicing. I don't really want to get anybody.
We're gonna put him in the car, and we're gonna go out work with him. We're gonna get laps, and actually Jake may run it once or twice.
Okay,
Jake,
there you go.
Jake's good at telling us what the car's doing. He's good at knowing what to do with the car. So we might put him in the car to make sure that we can get it to as quick as we can get it, and then he can get in it, and we'll go make laps. And maybe at the end of the year we'll throw him in there for a couple of races. We got 5 we can run before it messes up rookie.
The rookie of the year deal, right?
At the end of the year we can get him.
All right. Well, geez, I wanted to see you on opening night, but I understand it's not that easy. It's that learning process.
The amount of money that put in it so far, I don't want to be that guy that goes out there and wrecks half the field because I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't expect that.
I'm not going to take that chance.
And we'd beat him if he did.
Yeah. Well, it's like DJ Smith, who's obviously we're at his shop. He's always said jumping from the Roadrunner, and he went from a Roadrunner right to the late model. And he just said, wow, when you're in that car the first time and you realize what's going on, the emotions that got to be carrying through your mind. But
the first time that Joe Shear hit me in the left front, the trophy dash, I figured, okay, here we go. It was like,
learned that lesson quick, didn't you?
It's like, all right, here we go. And, it was wide open after that.
So, you started out in derbies? Is that what you're saying? You were demo derbies? And
we did the Rockford.
I did a couple trailer races
before that. I did a trailer race one time, and I thought it was a blast. A buddy of mine gave me an old van that he had, and I got the trailer from you. It was like a 40-foot camper trailer, and we hooked it up to the back of a van and went around. I think I only made 6 laps or something, and it was raining real bad that trailer race night. It was just the oval one, and going into one, I couldn't see anything. It was all full of smoke and dirt, and I'm like, all of a sudden, van jumps up, and I'm like, what was that? And I just keep on trucking, go down the backstretch, and van jumps up again. I'm like, well, that ain't good. We go into 3 and 4, and everybody piles up into 3 and 4. So I tried taking this little van with his camper and go through the infield, and it died right there.
That's where she ended, huh?
Yeah. I'm gonna do a figure 8.
Figure 8 trailer race or a figure 8
just
race?
a regular figure 8.
Well, we're gonna do vintage figure 8. We're gonna do 2 of them. We're working on that.
We may have to try that with the car.
You got a new car you're building. You were showing me a little bit earlier. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's switch over to Tom. Let's see what your plans are. Last year it was kind of going to be the bucket list. I'm going to run big 8 races and lay back, and then all the shit happened, and
I quit 3 years ago.
Okay.
And,
maybe it was that long ago. I don't remember.
So I'm on my 3rd anniversary of quitting, and then last year we had probably the best year we've had in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest Big 8 winner.
Yeah, the oldest Big 8 winner. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Might even be the oldest late model feature winner also, maybe.
It's all because of that sticker we made.
Yep, it's all because of that sticker.
What's that sticker? What's it say?
His number's a 40. Well, Keith Buzzycross sent me a picture one night before was it the Hugh Deary race that you won?
Yeah.
He sent me this picture.
No, it was Jody's last night.
Yeah, Jody's last night. That's right. So with it being a 40, it comes down and you got a little head up at the top of the 4 and put a little legs on it, and the 4 was like the 0 was like the
wheelchair.
The wheel of the wheelchair. So it looked like a wheelchair dude sitting in a wheelchair. We're sitting in line to go across to get his car inspected, and Jake peels his number off and slaps that on the windshield.
I never saw it till hell. I think the feature was done. I think it was like, really?
So we always said that it was because of the sticker.
Yeah.
Is it coming back this year?
There's a couple.
I'm sure there's
there
probably
you go.
some left. And if not, they know the guy that made them. So
Well, last year, Big 8, we go to State Park Speedway. the flattest, slowest,
I
no
have
grip
never-
track in
I
the
have-
world? You've never been there, right?
Oh yeah, I wrecked there the year before.
That's right.
With
You're right.
with building with Mikey, we all wrecked getting into 3 with like, I don't know, 6 laps to go.
That's right. The big one that weekend.
But yeah, I have never raced a place that is so hard. I mean, we ran 54 to 58 laps green, and about halfway through, man, my mouth was dry. I'm panting. I'm breathing. It's like Jesus, and we're doing 54 miles an hour. You know, I mean, you're working your butt off. You know, and I was tickled to death when we finished second, and got wrecked on the yellow.
That's right.
Got turned around in the infield and got wrecked, and it actually, when we were on the front stretch, we noticed the left rear wheel, the lip was almost gone. You know, we almost had a flat, and I just
wow.
couldn't get him. And but then we ended up winning it in the pits. So you know, you
Yeah,
take them however you
Moxborough
can
had
get
the-
them. You know,
took
you
the
take them
checkered,
however
but-
you can get them. But it's the way it goes.
That wasn't bad though. I mean, we
You know, when you get to be my age and stuff, you take them however you can get them.
So then you finished the year off with the win at Rockford.
Yep.
How'd you do at short track the rest of the season?
Short track was a really big disappointment
Okay.
because I thought we had a chance going in there, and you know, even with Mikey the way he was running, you know, we ran. I don't know. There was first however many laps I passed like 4 cars in 1 lap, and it was just awesome. And then something broke in the shock, and we just kind of. I rode for a while, and it was like, this ain't worth it. You know, that's the one good thing about getting older. It's like, you know what? I don't have to do this.
Pull off.
Pulled it in the infield, and Wilberg had already wrecked his car, and we sat on one of the big truck tires in the infield and watched the rest of the race go by.
Oh, there you go. Did you
So-
make it to Fest, Oktoberfest?
No, I didn't.
I didn't. Yeah, I couldn't remember for sure
No.
on that. So what's the plans now moving forward? New year, you've now re-retired or non-retired,
Yeah,
or
we've unretired again.
or version 4 or whatever you want to call it.
Well, back about, I don't know, Thanksgiving, Jake says, oh, by the way, you're going to run for the championship. I said, oh, I am. He goes, yeah. Why not? I'm like, well, okay. Well, because I was going to do the Big 8 thing. I like the longer races. I'm better at them. And he goes, nah, we need to go do that. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we're gonna run all year.
Your wife wants to go back to North Carolina.
Yeah, actually, yeah, Donna wants to go to Charlotte really, really bad. So we got to work hard at that.
Back to the banquet.
Back to the banquet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She had too much fun when we went down there with Jake. So
it is a neat event. I mean,
that was a lot of fun.
it's
And,
yeah.
you know, when you know people down there, you know, like, you know, we were in the motel getting ready and stuff, and phone rings, and it's Chad Knaus. I hear you're here. I go, yeah. What the hell are you doing here? And I go, we're here for Jake. I said, you know, he won the championship. And he goes, Jake? Last time I saw Jake, he was 2. I said, well, trust me, he's not 2 anymore.
No, he's a lot bigger now too. Yeah.
So you know,
Very
it's,
cool.
it's kind of cool when you know some people down there. But yeah, it was. They really put on something. It was really a lot of fun. So
Well, that's cool.
I'd like to do it. I'd like to be able to do it.
So I hear through the rumor mill, the grapevine, that your brother Jerry is coming back too. Obviously, he's running for a championship.
Yep.
Is there any more you want to talk about that?
No. Nah, hell, we've done that together for so long that, you know, it's just another car to race.
Doesn't really matter. I mean, it's.
Nah,
you're not gonna dump him, and well, maybe you might. You never know.
We've had our moments over the
Yeah,
years.
that's true.
You know, we've had our moments, but you know, it is what it is, and you know, I think it'd be fun. We all get back there.
Yeah,
I think we all go have some fun. Again, that's the one good thing about being older. You can kind of, you know, I'm just, you know, you're not so, you know, you're not up on the chip so hard. You know, it's like, all right, we can take this as it comes, and we'll do what we can, but it is what it is.
Well, I think last time you were on, you and I were talking about sometime during the pits, we were doing pit parking, and I came up with my golf cart, and I said, Tom, you finally mellowed out with age, or whatever I said at that point, and he just kind of smiled and said,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
it used to be a lot wilder back in the day, you know, and but now
Stuff.
we got Jake to take care of that part, so.
Yeah, he can get riled up a little bit. But,
Just a bit.
a little bit. But he's way better at it. He's way better at controlling it than I was. He can get mad, and you know, he can
Turn it off when he needs to.
Yeah, he can turn it off when he needs to. I had to get it out before I could turn it down. Yeah.
So what do you got? Same car you got last year, or is it just working on something new, or?
No, we're it's going to be the same car. It's actually the car that Jake hit the point with at short track in 16 that he put on the top. It's pretty much, you know, the same car, minus a different stub and the whole body. But yeah, it's, you know, I spent a lot of years, you know, kind of fumbling around with, you know, we had decent cars, but they weren't, you know, they weren't that great. And that was really when I started to decide I was, you know, and we need to be done. And what turned it around was Jake bought a super late.
Okay.
So we were able to take all of his stuff and the stuff that I had, and we put a car together, and oh Christ, man, we're fast. You know,
There we
hey,
go.
we could be fast again. So that's pretty much what started it, or kept it going. So that's where we're at.
Little sidebar, what's Jake's plans? What's he got going this year? Super
Jake's got a lot of kids.
So the racing's crew work right now.
He is.
And he's working a lot.
Yes, him and his father-in-law. And his father-in-law has some health issues that he's going through right now. So Jake's kind of on his own. And we're going to get the cars ready. And he's talking about maybe the Tundra. Just doing the, what is it, 7 races?
5 or 6, 7 of them.
6 something, I don't know, something like that. And then, you know, whatever Rockford has, and that might be it.
Winchester.
Okay.
Well, he wants to go to Winchester. I've been trying to talk him out of that, but I don't know. I mean, I can't say nothing, because if we were running, I'd probably, you know, I'd want to go there too.
You've never been. I mean, as a racer.
I was there as a pit guy, but I've
Right.
never been down the racetrack as a driver. No.
As a dad, is it the speed, or is it just what's
Just
the
what I've
scary
seen
part?
happen there. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's the place is just wicked. You know,
Very
I mean,
fast.
it's not exactly the safest place in the world. You know, and
Be in the infield area.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I remember the first time we went there with, we were helping John Canals, and John said, man, halfway down the backstretch, you can't see in 3 because the infield humps up. He says, you get to 3, you just hope it's all still open yet. And
Going in blind.
because if it's not, you're going to wreck.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Aren't they
it's just-
rated like the #1 racetrack for most deaths?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't follow those statistics, but I can
I
believe
mean, all
it.
you gotta do is
As
look
soon
at
as
it.
he
I
said,
know, but
as soon as he said that he wanted to run Winchester, he was watching the thing on it, and they were showing all the really bad wrecks and this and that, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to see that.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
probably
need
not
to
a
see
good
that.
thing.
Yeah.
It would be neat. Again, kind of like a Bristol or something, I'm thinking.
A
And,
really fast Bristol.
yeah.
Yep.
So Big 8's going to Milwaukee Mile. You ran that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You ran that when 13, I
Yep.
believe, was 12 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
Plan on going back? You want
Oh,
to do
yeah.
that again?
Yep. Yeah,
What
we're
was that
definitely
like?
going.
I mean, compared to the tight short track of Rockford, for example.
I had went there, oh man, in the 90s. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Had a driving experience, and he had some. Basically, they were super lates, and I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I can't remember.
the 90s.
but,
anyway.
Yeah, it was in the 90s. It was only like for like a summer. Or he had
Right.
it there for a little while, and he had some decent cars. He had like 5 or 6 cars. I can't remember what it was. And I can remember the first time, man, going down the backstretch. It's like, wow, where's 3? And then when you get to 3, it's like, uh-oh, you have to turn here.
Exactly.
And but picked it up actually pretty quick, and before it was said and done, I was quick enough that I could have made the ASA race that had been there earlier.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was a blast. I mean, and yeah, I'll be there.
But back in the day, did you crew on anybody's car at
Oh, yeah.
Milwaukee? I
Yeah.
mean, back not even the USAC
Yep.
days, but
Yeah.
ASA was there.
We were there with John Canals with the ugly Buick, the Buick
Oh,
Century,
yeah.
the first one at the first super late race that they had at Milwaukee. We were there,
Okay.
and yeah, I changed tires. You know, we've had a lot of fun doing that.
So Milwaukee, and I'm not a driver, but I'd kind of say you need a good car. I mean, the track is so wide, so long. I mean, yeah, you need balls and a good motor. I mean, that's about it. Am I close or?
Well, yeah, but you know, it's gotten to the point now though, and especially you know, I mean,
Well, I
when you
suppose.
on the 10-inch tires, you know, you had something you could lean on. Well, now you know we're not a whole lot slower than what the super lates are,
Right.
and we got 8 inches that we
That's
can
true.
lean on, and she gets well. Brad Mueller drove Jeremy's car in 13, and after the second hot lap session, he came in and goes, "I don't know how you guys drive this crap." He goes, "I don't know how you do this." I'm like, "Why?" And he goes, He said, "Man," he said, "it's just skating and you know around here and there." And I go, "You know, when you're used to it, that's
Right.
what you do." But yeah, you know, yeah, we're gonna be there.
Okay.
And I don't know if Jake's gonna. We're kicking around. I don't know if he's gonna run the super late one, but he's going to race the vintage car that we're putting together. He's gonna run the vintage car there. So
Oh, that's right. They're on there with the Midwest Tour
yeah,
race.
with the Midwest Tour.
Tell us about the vintage car real quick.
The vintage car is literally vintage. The first time I probably remember seeing it race, Tom Graves owned it, and I was sitting on top of it. Opening night, 95, 96. Dennis Miller got into Tom Graves in a heat race. Turned him. We still had the walls in the infield from the Spring Classic.
Okay.
And I remember seeing air, and then I never landed. Never really landed.
Kind of a
and
soft
it was
in.
like- yeah, it was like, okay. Well, Wilberg could see my exhaust and was trying to get out of his car because it was orange, and he was getting out. And it was Wilberg and me and Tom Graves, and I landed on that car. Well, then I think Billy McCoy had it, and then Jeff Tenor got it, and it sat in Jeff's garage for, God, I don't know how long. And then he tried racing it, or he raced it at the brackets one year.
That's right.
And then he decided that, you know, he really likes working on them. So I've been running it. And then I tried to destroy it at brackets one year, and we put our own stub on it and stuff. Well, then you guys outlawed it.
You guys. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
those guys over
Yeah.
there. I know.
Yeah.
Them sons of guns over
You
there.
guys outlawed it. And so last year, I cut it apart, and I put frame rails on it. So it's back legal for
It's a-
brackets. Well, then while we were doing it, it was like, you know, we can't put an ABC body back on it. We don't want something like that. Well, there's a place in Iowa that's building bodies, and so we're putting an 81 Camaro body on it, and we're going to paint it up like one of the last cars I helped John Canals on.
Okay.
Lettered 98, all the sponsors, everything. It's going to look as close as we can to
Identical.
it. So that's what we're going to play with.
So that'll be your vintage car.
That'll be the vintage
And
car.
then you'll run that at brackets, you said too,
Yep.
obviously.
We're gonna-
So
yeah, we can run it vintage. We can run it at the Misfit if we want it Madison. We can
Oh,
run
that's
it,
true.
and we can run it at the brackets. Heck, we could probably run that car more places than we can the other stuff.
we might be on to something here. I
Yeah,
know this.
yeah, I wonder what that is. But
Yeah,
yeah,
All right. Well, that sounds fun.
yeah. I mean, and that's where I'm at. I'm 60. It's we're gonna have some fun with this, and
You had your birthday since last you won at State Park because I remember you were 59
yep,
then.
yeah,
so
yeah.
I
We
just
were
want to
59
clarify that.
then. I had my birthday the week of short track,
Okay.
which is that's the way it's always been.
Yeah, it's true. Except you get a year older every time.
Yeah. Yep. I guess it's better than the alternative.
Well, that's true. Yes, yes. So, Adam, back to you. What are you thinking? Milwaukee Mile someday? Where do you want to go with the late model? I mean, I know you just want to get going, but there's got to be.
Honestly,
There's got to be something you're driving down the road or you're at work. You're going, man, I want that trophy.
My goal is to go is to win. I've won short track in the Roadrunner. I won short track in the Sportsman. My goal is to win a short track in a late model.
Awesome.
So that'll be my future down the road goal. Once we get comfortable and get the right stuff and get going, but I mean, between that's my number one goal. But I think the Dell's the Icebreaker trophy is pretty cool. I think that'd be cool to have. I think that'd be like my second one. But I've always wanted to go back to Slinger since I ran the Sportsman there. That was really fun. But Rockford's always been my home, and I literally live 5 minutes down the road.
Down the road, yeah.
So, I mean, I always say I'm going to go other places, but I never do. I always come back. So
I've been racing for, however many years, and I made it to Slinger for the first time.
It was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was ugly night. Tell me about that one.
You know, we
I remember it, but
we had a pretty exciting race on Saturday night for the 76 lapper, and come up short again, finished second. Had a
3
little
years in a row, right?
Yeah, and so then the next night was Slinger, and I'd never raced on it. Been there since I was a kid.
100 times, right?
We run okay. Qualifying, we qualified decent, and then we started the heat race, and was on the outside, and I got running back, and it was like, man, I'm done. This is, so I just started driving hell out of it. We ended up winning the heat race from the outside, and it's like, oh, this is a lot of fun. I can do this. So we started the feature, and Jake didn't put any air in the tires. He wanted to start them low, and it run like it. So I was kind of holding my own. We were like 7th, kind of found a happy place, and we were going to run to the break and then put some air in the tires and do whatever we thought we needed to do. And then they had a yellow, and it's not Danny Church's fault at all. I mean, nobody goes out there to blow a motor.
No, at all. Right.
And then to do it right after a caution, that's the
field was
couldn't have picked
all
the best time. And I remember seeing a puff of smoke when I was at start finish line, and the next thing I saw was fence.
I think you went airborne.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you who you crawled over, but
I ended up underneath Prunty's, and then Jerry Eckhart, who I had been taking crap for since the heat races, because here I am 59, Jerry is 76,
6 or so, yeah.
and he won his heat race and I won my heat race, and Jake was doing math on what the average age was for the heat race winner. So I was hearing that crap. So here the 2 oldest guys in the field are piled up, and I get out and I look back, it's like, oh man, it's Jerry. And so he's looking up, and I said, "You all right?" He goes, "Yeah. You think we don't? You think being our age we would know better?" And he just kind of chuckled and sat there. It's like, well, whatever,
Oh God! If you don't know Jerry Eckhart,
Oh,
comes in the station wagon. Well, he's coming station wagon to the racetrack, but
he's got that
his
old
hauler is a 1960s Dodge.
It's actually 2 65 Dodges.
Okay, well,
welded
you're
together, and for years, the steering wheel was still in the back seat.
Really?
Absolutely. You could sit in the back seat, and the steering wheel was still there. I don't know if he thought it was funny or whatever, but that's just the way he did it.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
It's still the same truck.
Yeah, it's a
still
classic.
uses that same truck.
I told Todd at Slinger, they're doing that Tony Stewart Racing SRX event in July, and I said, man, you need to get Jerry Eckhart. He needs to be part of that. I mean, they're going, oh, get Ty Majeski or Prunty or something.
Right.
I'm thinking, Eckhart is just, he's history of racing in the Midwest. I mean,
the old boy can, he still gets up on the wheel. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he can.
Well, he
can still
won
get
the
up
heat
on
race.
Right? Yeah.
It-
You know, he won the heat race against some pretty good guys.
We had the Big 8 field there, and
Right. So it's and what's funny is I remember watching him when I was a kid. I mean,
Well, me
before
too.
I
I
was
mean, that's-
before I was old enough to get into pits. I remember watching him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oofta.
Yeah. He's been racing a while.
Yeah, that was the sad thing about the Big 8 race at Slinger, the turn one on the restart, poof,
Yeah.
and it was just the big one,
Took
as
out-
we called it.
Took out what 6 of us, I think.
6 out of the, and damaged a few others, but I mean the race was still good after that.
Right.
But
Oh,
man,
it started a good race.
if that didn't happen, you can only
It would have
imagine.
been. It would have been pretty. Well.
We probably would have had a big one later if that didn't happen.
Well,
then.
if it wouldn't have happened, then maybe we could have been. I would have been way closer in the points.
Yeah, that's
we'd have
true.
made a little better run at it. If we'd went to lacrosse, but
You ended up third, I believe,
Yep,
in the
yeah, we ended up third.
2020 Big 8 points, and
Yep.
there was a big gap between you and first and second.
yeah, when we got to short track, it was 22 points in the for the first 3,
All 3 of it.
and
yep.
then when I pulled out of short track, it kind of, and then I didn't go to lacrosse, so that
Right.
just kind of kept it going.
When Jacob Nottis had the lead going into lacrosse, Kaler was second, and then stuff happened there, and then Kaler comes out the champion, at the end.
Yeah.
So interesting how it all works. I mean,
Yeah.
so this is the year. This is the championship run for Tom GIlle. That's what
Yeah.
Jake says, huh?
Yeah.
Lexi's chipping in, huh?
Yep.
You want Tom? You voting for Tom this time?
I'm
Yep.
excited for him.
See if
Yeah.
the old guy can do it.
That's right.
He got the experience.
Yeah.
Seasoned
Yep.
veteran,
Yep.
I got the vinyl machine. We can make some banners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be a party.
So after that, you win the championship. Then next year, take a look, see what's where, who.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I
take
mean,
it by.
at this point in time, every year is the last year.
Is it getting funner as you get older and more look back at it? I don't know if funner is the right word. You're enjoying it more.
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
I don't know. Funner is
To me, I appreciate it more.
okay.
I had won a feature in 10 years. 2010 was the last feature I won,
Oh wow.
and I hate to say you get used to it, but you kind of what the circumstances are. You know why you're not. You know what the deal is. And then when we won at State Park, I'd really like to say, man, we were celebrating and jumping up and down, but I was just kind of relieved and kind of just enjoying that. This is pretty cool. We
I can still do this. There
We
you
can
go.
still do this.
So
And
your
then
mother.
Rockford, yeah. Then when we
yeah.
were Rockford by I don't know, straightaway or whatever the heck it was,
Right.
and that was weird. That whole night was. I mean, we broke stuff from the time we just were there to get ready
Shake
for
the car
short track.
down. Right.
And I think we broke clutch master cylinder right off the bat, and then we screwed up something else, and then we had to go out and qualify on stickers because we didn't get the hot lap. And Jake come down, he goes, "Yeah, you're going to be on the pole for the feature, the outside pole for feature." And I'm like, "Great, that'll be embarrassing. Starting on the outside pole, and I'm going to finish like 5th." And they dropped the green to warm the tires up, and I looked in the mirror. It's like, where's everybody at?
They let you be, huh?
Just warming the tires. It's like, wow, it feels really good.
Oh.
And man, they dropped the green. Man, we were gone. It was.
There you
It was
go.
like, this is awesome. So, yeah, I mean, it is.
So that felt
You
good.
just appreciate it more, I think.
So the big question, your mother Nancy. I think if you've never been to the racetrack and you don't know who she is, then you haven't been to the
You
racetrack.
haven't been to the racetrack.
What's her
much.
take on you racing? I know she say quit, retire, or she's go.
Oh
Get-
no, my mom. She would put me in the car if she had to. She's
God bless her.
she's up on the chip, wide open from the time she wakes up in the morning till she goes to bed at night. And when Jake raced at Grundy for the Benthausen, and he raced 2 weeks before that. I picked her up every night. She went there, and it was kind of cool. The Bentonhausen night, her and Tom Jones, who just turned 75,
Okay.
spent half the time talking about stuff and this and that, and so that was kind of cool. But yeah, she'll be there every night.
And she is in her
Yep.
spot, in her
With
chair.
her cookies.
In her spot, she'll drop off the cookies at at the trailer, and she'll drop off the food, and she'll go do her thing, and we'll all go do ours.
Yeah,
And, she
go
don't
ahead.
even get that excited. I mean, she's
What?
really happy that
Okay.
we went about us, about
Oh,
Jerry
oh.
and I. It's like mess with her grandson,
Jake.
mess with Jake.
Yeah.
You wanna
Okay.
see-
That's
you
why.
want-
That's why I stood
You
up.
want to see her get wound up.
Okay.
Somebody mess with Jake.
That's the part I remember. Well, even back in the day,
Oh yeah,
Your
she used
father-
to be for us.
your father had not a reputation, but he
Oh,
was
yeah, he
well
did.
known. Well,
Yeah,
I
he
guess you
did.
could call it a reputation.
Yeah, he did. Nobody messed with him.
Nobody messed with him.
Nobody messed with him.
Then you had mom in the stands, and it was
Yep.
quite a
Yeah.
deal.
It was fun watching her watch Jake at the Bentonhausen.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
Probably
that was the
people,
first time I've seen her worked out.
Yeah, she gets.
Oh, wow.
She can get worked up. There's no doubt about it. And what's funny is, she knows that she's 80 and she don't care. She'll tell you. She'll tell you exactly what she thinks.
what
and
comes
you
right out
can-
of the mind, and
You can either like it or not. It doesn't matter. She said it, and we move on.
she's quite a person, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Been around for years, obviously, with
Yep.
the whole family.
Yep. Since 59. I think she was there when she was pregnant with me. I think when they started
Wow.
down there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Adam, back to you real quick. What's your superstition when you do something crazy before the race? Do you got anything you got to do, or what's one of those weird things? Do you not wear underwear, or
Kiss
well,
the
all
crew
right,
guy.
I don't want to go there, maybe. Let's.
Kiss the crew guy. Something.
So, my biggest thing is when we first started racing, when me and my wife had got together, it was me and her. And she was always there at the window. We were always telling me goodbye, I love you, kiss me, come back in. She was there at the window. We were winning all the
Okay.
time. Well, she ended up, I don't know. We moved into the one house and stuff got crazy, and I had other people, hey, can I help you? Hey, can I help you? So
Okay.
I had friends coming over, and she backed away, and in all honesty, I think she's my superstition. If she's not there at my window to help me buckle in, put my window net up,
Okay.
I don't think straight when I'm on the track.
Interesting.
That's the
It's-
only time.
It's
Yeah.
the other time is when I make your shot. But
All right.
and I ain't saying that just because she's standing there either, just so you know. But
Nah, we pick on him pretty hard.
I tell her all
You got
the
to go
time
home
that
without her, not us. So
it's weird that if she's not there to put my window net up, I don't get comfortable in the car.
It helps.
I can imagine.
When the wife, and Donna doesn't come to the races anymore really because she can't stand to watch Jake and I race together.
Oh.
Now that we're not racing together, but that's when she really stopped coming. And she's the one that got, she's the one that said we needed to get him a go-kart.
Damn.
Need to get him going. I'm like, okay, so and then we went from there, and he jumped from an Allison Legacy car to a late model.
Okay.
And the first night in Jerry's car, he put it in the dash.
Wow.
That's when we kind of, oh crap, the
This kid's
gonna
got something.
do that. This kid's gonna do it.
Mhm.
And actually, it was before that. I was driving for Dave Bailey, and we had the red car, the ASA, the crate motor stuff, and we came out on a Thursday night, trying some stuff, and Dave was in Indiana with David Goff with the Midget. So I called him, told him how things was going and what it did and what we were looking at, and he asked me, he says, Jake there with you? I said, yeah. He goes, put him in the car, just let him go on hot lap. I'm like, no. No.
I don't know about that.
No. He was 16, 17. And Darrell Williams was there. He was still a cop. And
Got his radar gun. And,
he had the radar gun, and I was doing like 96 miles an hour, no matter what I did. If I drove it in over my head. If I eased it, but tried to get in it, that was pretty much it. And so I went over to Jake. I said, "You want to take the car out?" And before I got out, he was getting in. I'm like, "Okay, here we go." So Daryl's like, "I'll go up and see how fast he's going." I said, "All right." Well, after about 6 laps, he's cooking pretty good, you know, and he hadn't been in anything really. I mean, and I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna, dude, you need to come in. And Daryl starts showing me the gun. He's at 92. He's at 93. And I'm like, dude, you know. And finally,
that's enough.
I need to get this in here because, you know, if he crosses it up, he's not used to that or something.
Right.
You know, we're going to be fixing stuff. But, I mean, just right off the bat, man, he hopped in and we're going to go. So.
Well, the Allison Legacy cars, they did have adjustable suspension. They're a lot different than the Super Cups.
They were a mini late model except for a stabilizer bar.
Okay.
They didn't allow those. You couldn't have a stabilizer bar. They had, you know, the coilovers, and they had little quick changes, the midget stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know?
There you go.
But I drove it when he got hurt playing football. I drove it at Geneva. They were a blast to drive. It was a lot of fun.
Big go-kart.
Yeah.
Fast go-kart, really. I mean.
And, well, he won the Little Car Nationals, and like halfway through the feature, he was running as quick as the short trackers.
Oh, wow.
With it.
Okay.
And, but yeah, you know, so, I mean, he jumped from that to a late model and kept going. I mean, his first short track, he finished, I don't know, 4th in Jerry's car. So.
Not bad at all.
No.
So you and Jake have a bet every year? You know, who's going to win? Is there any season-long bets between you guys? Or?
His only comment was,
Uh-oh.
this year was, no, he goes, I'm really having a lot of fun, you know, with, you know, at State Park and finished. He goes, it's kind of like I'm 12 again. He goes, you know, you're fast, you're winning stuff. He says, I'm helping on the car. He goes, it's kind of like I'm 12.
So he liked it.
Yeah,
That's
he thought
good.
it was a blast. So, and now, you know, we're not racing with each other anymore, you know, against
Right.
each other anymore. And so, you know, I mean, it's just pretty much he's on my crew, I'm on his crew, and away we go.
We covered that last time when we were together. Let's share the group with one more time. You and Jake, you're leading.
No, Jake was leading.
Jake was leading. You fill me in. You know a lot more about this one than I do.
A lot of people know about this.
Well, I know. But let's tell a few more then.
We had taken the challenge. The challenge
Started in the
was
back.
like $1,200 or something like that. And I started in the back, and we worked our way up to second. It just got to second, and Ricky was following me. Bilderbeck was following me through, and the yellow come out. So Jake was leading, I'm second, and they dropped the green, and I went into 1, got next to him down the backstretch. You know, we neck and neck, and got into 3, and I'd gotten almost by him, and I might have come up a little quick. But I didn't think so. I still don't think so. But he got to looking at Ricky. Ricky was fine. You know, Ricky was in there too, and he just got messed up. He got in the right rear, and I wrecked big.
Good.
And you know, lost out on the bonus and lost out on everything. And we had a couple of days where it was a little.
Pretty quiet in the shop.
A little cool around the shop, but after that it was okay.
Yeah,
I think
that's
we
true.
figured out it was like $5,500 you lost out on.
Yeah.
Repairs,
Yep,
purse
with
money.
for the purse
fixing,
money, yeah.
the fixing and the purse, because I mean, the bonus was up there, and we were there, so. Oh well.
He never wrote you a check, though, did he?
No.
Okay.
Nope. But he stayed away from me for a while.
I could imagine. Oh, well.
But it's your kid, you know. When it's your kid, you just, you know.
At that moment, he's not. You're
No,
seeing
no,
you're seeing dollar signs.
when I hit the wall, he was not my kid. I was pretty pissed.
I can imagine. So
yeah.
finishing that story, how'd your mother take that? What was her take on that? Who did what, or how
My
the
mom
next
didn't really
Thanksgiving
say
dinner?
anything. My mom actually stayed
Kind of
She
neutral.
didn't say anything because, again, it's her grandson.
Well,
And-
you're the bad guy at this
And,
point.
I should know better. I'm sure in her mind I should have known better because it couldn't have been Jake's fault. My dad, on the other hand, he walked up to Jake and he patted him on the shoulder and he goes, "Did you learn something tonight?" Jake just kind of nodded and
That was it.
that was the end of it.
Wow. Well, Tom, your family got a bunch of history, and you said since '59.
Yep.
Came through the ranks, crewing on cars. Your dad raced. Did your dad race?
My
I
dad
don't
raced
remember
for
that.
a very, very short time. He had a
Okay.
coupe that they raced at Freeport when they were still running coupes.
Wow.
Got a picture of me sitting, I don't know, I'm like a year old, sitting on the tire.
To have that car today, wouldn't that be
Oh,
awesome?
God, I
you
wish
know?
I had that car today.
Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
cool?
Yep.
So we got a couple comments.
We got a couple of comments.
Uh-oh.
Danny Lignell says, Tom, you're old.
Tom, you're old.
Danny says, Adam needs to stay out of the grass.
Adam needs to stay out of the grass. What's he
That
mean by
was
that?
20, I think it was 20. When did Jake flag for the figure eight? 2013? 2014?
He was, what, 2 years he flagged?
Yeah, Wednesday night
Yeah,
deal.
had to been, yeah, 13, 14, somewhere right around there.
It was. I won 7 out of the 11 figure eights that year when I won the figure eight championship. And it was always, I would come through on the outside. I would always stay up high, come in, and you always get the guy on the inside that just overdrives it, and you get shoved out in the grass. Well, fighting for the lead, on the outside, I think it was Brent Garnhart was on the inside,
Okay.
and he hit me so hard, put me through the infield. I was facing the grandstands, and I looked off to the right, and I seen Jake just standing there. And I'm like, oh boy, this isn't good. And he never moved.
Because the
Not
flagman's
once.
out in the middle of the X or the
He
infield.
never
Yeah,
moved.
okay.
And I hit the center of the X. The car came back around, and I took off. I ended up winning the race. We go into the pits after the race is in the beer garden, and I asked Jake. I said, weren't you nervous? He goes, no. He goes, you do that every night. He goes, I knew what I had coming to me. I'm like, I was nervous. So that's where that all stemmed from.
Going back to like rituals, superstitions, what's something you got to do every night? Jeff Williams, I know you guys know.
Yeah, Jeff.
You have a throwing up ritual? Or?
Asking about a ritual superstition.
Okay, so
And Jeff claims that
yeah,
you throw
I've
up.
known Jeff for a really long time.
You grew up together. Grew up together.
No, yeah, we grew up together. So we went to high school together.
He's
ever
a
since I've
character.
started racing,
All right.
I don't know what it is, but every Saturday morning, 5 o'clock on the dot, I wake up and I have to run to the bathroom and I puke. Every single race night. If I race on Wednesdays,
Thanks,
5
Jeff.
o'clock in the morning,
That was a weird one.
I've
never heard
I
that
go
before.
puke. I don't know what it is.
You remember the name Don Harvey.
Oh, Don Harvey, right?
My dad said Don Harvey did it, pulling in on the pit road, heading for the pit shack every Saturday night.
Really?
Had to make sure he was on the outside,
Near the window
near the window,
to
he
yak
could-
it all
he
out,
could-
huh?
and
So
then-
I'm not
and
the
then-
only one.
And then go into beach.
championships,
Championships,
and
and
etc.
stuff. But yeah, he said he did it every Saturday.
I've never heard that. Obviously, you get butterflies in your tummy.
I'm dead asleep.
and mostly,
I wake up.
Usually, it's like coming off the ramp and onto the track. When you see the crowd, and there's. At least
I
that's
have
what
that-
I would think would be the time where it would really hit you.
I have that weird feeling all night, and I can't eat until after the heat race. Otherwise, I get sick. Once I pull off the track from the heat race, I run right inside the trailer, or we run up to the burger shack, and I'm all down.
So you don't eat breakfast, lunch, and nothing all day?
I can't eat.
Holy cow.
Otherwise, I get sick.
Interesting.
The last
That
couple of years,
That was an
eat
interesting
lunch,
one.
but
Not a lot.
it's
Some light.
11:30, and it's
Interesting.
something that my wife will pick up on her way back from wherever she's going, and
Okay.
I'll eat it, and I feel sick until I come back from the heat race.
Tom, it's your turn. I got to ask. Never had that?
No,
Maybe not weekly, but
no, I've had.
what was the moment in your career where it was like, holy cow, I'm here, and like, is that early probably in your career? You've been around for a long time, you know.
Yeah.
Just, I didn't say you're old. I just said
I'd
you've been
say
around a long time.
The first night in the late model, Billy McCoy took me out, spun me in the, God, I don't even know, first heat. And
I can believe that, by the way. Okay.
well,
Throw that in.
Dad had a little talk to him at the scales. So he's like, so Dad, he goes, so what do you think? I'm like, I don't know what to think. And he goes, well, it scare you? No. And he goes, then get back in the car.
That was it.
And then racing with Joe Shear.
There you go.
He came to Rockford that first time, and like I said, first time he catches you on the left front, does that little blink move, and moves you out of the way. It's like, okay, this is what we got to do. This is where we're at. So
That'd probably be the moment, really.
yep.
Cheer behind the wheel. Not a lot of guys can say that.
Nope. I got
You know?
to race with a couple guys, a couple pretty cool guys that.
Well, that's cool. Hey, looking forward to a exciting coming year. Hopefully we can get up and running. Adam, good luck with the late model career. And Tom, here we go. Racing for the championship.
Here we go.
Again.
Here we go.
The unretired tour returns.
Yeah. yeah. There we go.
We want to thank our sponsors, Richie's Barbecue tonight. Remember, he brought us food. All you got to do is stop down there. They're open, I believe it's Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah.
They're not open all week, but it takes him a while to cook all that beautiful barbecue. This is a production of Misfit Productions, so go to their webpage, join, subscribe to them, get some numbers up for Kyle to help pay for all this big mess he's got us into. We certainly appreciate it. Hope you're all having fun watching us. We'll be back next week, and good night from outside the fence.